Hello and welcome to Genius and Octopus World. In here, you will see the progress and changes throughout this world. Enjoy.
The original genius idea came from Roman mythology. They believed that the genius is the individual instance of a general divine nature that is present in every individual person, place, or thing. In many ways, they are much like a guardian angel. The genius would follow their human from the day they are born to the day they die. The purpose of the genius is to give inspiration or ideas to their human. They think that if they do a good enough job, that they will merge with their human. The genius have many tasks throughout the day. One of their main objectives was to feed their human with good or bad ideas. Then the human would incorporate them ideas into their world. Some of the work we were looking at were Salvatore Dali, MC Escher, and Rob Gonsalves. We chose to look at these artists because their work is more surreal and more suited towards our world.
Expanding on the previous group's work, using influences like MC Escher, this group developed a chaotic world. In this group, we explored questions such as what is the genius, a spirit world to inspire humans. Another question was if the genius was in an animal's body, what would the genius have more would the genius have more control over its host? Our understanding of the previous work was that the genius was influenced by the human, but the human had the final say to filter the good ideas from the bad. So the group played with the idea of a corrupt geni in an animal because animals were weak-willed. Developing the story, we wanted a protagonist, so as a group we picked an octopus because we thought the idea was unique and we all liked the idea of drawing octopus. Basically, the story we created was primarily around the octopus and how the genius was disgusted by what the humans had done with the world. So the octopus decided to escape to a new world and create its world in its own image, heavily inspired by the chaos of the genius world. In creature design, the group tried adding aspects of humor to the world with weird and wacky creatures, as the world was too serious. By creating unique concepts, exaggerating features, adding futuristic technology, and introducing them to new environments, the group enjoyed creating creatures, but as the world progressed to tonal work, the creatures were forgotten about and focused mainly on the environment.
The third group continued to move forward with the tonals portraying their interpretation of the world's landscapes and atmosphere. By experimenting further with warm and cool tones, they were able to simplify the original water world concept and expand on it further by experimenting with lighting, depth, and forming a solid colour scheme. It is evident that this group were heavily inspired by Roman architecture and used this inspiration as a foundation to build a more alien world. For example, whilst collaborating alongside aquatic themes and characteristics, they were able to maintain the intellectual feel of the human architecture but give it a more surreal, alien-like atmosphere with the addition of aquatic features. For example, shell-like structures used as rooftops or aquatic plant life being referenced throughout their work. The group then began looking into artists such as Karl Krull as a result of constructive criticism. The world was still too Earth-like, so they began to experiment further with architecture inspired by Krull's work. They began to toy with the idea of applying a smoother finish to their buildings, adding curves, drops, and twists, resulting in some really strange alien habitats within their tonal work.
We as a group defined the genre as being science fiction and one of exploration in other planets. We got the inspiration from different sources such as Star Wars, Atlantis, Harry Potter, and the documentary Blue Planet. Artists we looked at were William Truss Richards and Lisa McGill, who are both coastal landscape artists painting in oil pastels. We also looked at digital art from games including Bioshock and Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which had some very intricate, detailed pieces which influenced us in the underwater aspect of the project. The land would be a desolate landscape of an endless horizon of sand dunes. We began to convey colour by using both Photoshop and mixed media, using pens and markers. The graphics tablet was used to create all digital work as seen here in the slide. The colour palettes were designed to be both contrasting and complementing of one another. The landscape would be distinguishable from one to the other. We looked at tropical countries which had clear blue water, such as the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, as a reference for our work. The land was designed to be hot, harsh and unforgiving, shown by the use of yellows and browns, along with the lighting cast on the sand dunes. We decided to create the octopus and make it bright red and orange to exaggerate it and make it easily distinguishable from the rest of the environment. It was also vivid and vibrant in comparison to everything else. The different locations had different aspects to consider, like the science of light and how it acts. The water is more difficult to convey light and the direction is shown. For example, the reflections, the refraction and dispersion of light have to be considered. This is accomplished with the change due to current and waves causing a ripple effect, dividing light into colours and as it slows down and changes direction. But the light would reflect off the sandy surface, and even heat waves could be conveyed due to the power of the sun and the temperature it would produce. The main aim was to create two different landscapes that are barren, populated with aged ruins and harsh, wacky plant life. The ancient civilization that would be showed died out long ago, and all that remains are these buildings and structures on land and in the sea. To keep the work relevant, we worked collectively and conducted research to improve the visual aesthetics of the Photoshop work. The field of exploration of an octopus on board a spaceship. This spaceship was leaving the dying planet due to global warming, and is the process of transporting all of the contents of the ship to the new world to colonize, almost like Noah's Ark. The marine life is stored in the hull of the ship. An error occurs while orbiting a planet in the upper atmosphere. This planet is almost all covered in water and sand. The alarm sounds in the spaceship and the airlock is sealed and the contents of the hull are released into space. The octopus uses its abilities and intelligence to escape the ship, exploring the sea and the land. The underwater is consistent of ruins and caverns. He then comes to the shore and explores the land, coming across another wreckage from the ship. Another animal, which is a crab-like creature, comes out, and this is where the story ends. This storyboard was rough and was open to interpretation and focused on the landscape and backdrops of each location, rather than the events it would convey. This provided us with a rough time scale and allowed us to convey the rough ideas and visual representations to the members of the group.
For our first animatic, we wanted to come up with a common style that we were all comfortable with. So we looked at different artists such as Edward Goyne and his animation for Alice Madness Returns, which is a video game, and also the illustrations of Frank Miller, Sin City, which show light and shadows through only colors of black and white. We chose Liner as it is an easy style and it can show our story well. Our original storyboard was made for our tonals and it didn't really tell a complete story. This mistake was obvious on our first animatic as the end was confusing, as Conan said. For our final animatic, we needed to come up with an ending which actually makes sense and gave a meaning to our animatic. We looked at different ways to finish it, like being ridiculous and adding a pub out of nowhere, which made the animatic fun and light. There was still no meaning and it didn't tie in with the rest of the animatic. Then we thought of making it more grim and violent. This ending made more sense and it gave a meaning to our animatic.